Hi, this is Chuck Lamson. Hey, what we're going to do today is unbox a new plane that I'm very excited about. It's a RC Sloper, and it's put out by Crash Test Hobby, which has put out a number of very nice combat planes, foam combat wings. And recently, Lee has been working with the soaring community, especially the de-essing community, to try to design some high performance planes for sloping. And this is one of the very first kits that has been made for the Geronimo, a 60-inch version of this plane. And so I'm going to build it. In practicing, I already unboxed it one time, so I'm going to unbox it again to show you what's in here. And in today's video, we'll just show what's in the kit and some of the things I've acquired to work with on the build. I'm not going to show the whole build because Lee Aston, who with his son runs Crash Test Hobby, puts together excellent build videos for every plane that they put out, and I could not do anything better. I pretty much follow what he does. If I make any departures that I think are interesting to you, I will put them in a separate video. But for now, we're just going to look at what's in the kit. I'm really excited to have this 16-inch sloper. The point of the mountain is it's a premier site for sloping, and it's halfway between Salt Lake City and Provo in Utah. I live very close. I'm about 20 minutes from the site. And when I was a kid, I flew a plane that I made. I think it was called the Gentle Lady or something like that. It was a balsa wood plane, and it didn't have much weight to it. Floated out there very nicely in 5 to 10 miles per hour wind in the updraft, but couldn't handle high winds or high speeds very well. So this is a much different ball game here. I've been over there to the slopes with Lee as he's flown the prototypes, and they're much heavier and much faster and much more interesting to me to fly. So I'm kind of excited about this. Why did I opt for the 60-inch version? He has, I think, 3 offerings in this new line of slopers. The smallest is the Tomahawk. I don't remember the exact dimension on that one. The next one up is the Crazy Horse. That one, I think, is 48 inches, and this is 60 inches. This is the Geronimo. And for me, bigger is better, just because as I get older, my vision is not quite as clear. And so something that's bigger, and I'll add some colors to it to make it as visible as I can, is better. In fact, I'll show you that right now. I've got a couple rolls of vinyl. These came from Walmart. They're the type of vinyl with sticky backing that is used in these printers that cut, not printers, but cutters that will cut out whatever pattern you want in vinyl. I don't have one of those. I'm just going to cut this with scissors and put it on the plane. Maybe the red on the bottom and the yellow on the top to make it very visible when it's out there, 200 or 300 yards. Okay, enough of that. Let's get to what's in the box. So this is the wing core, and Lee and his company, Crash Test Hobby, has gotten very good at cutting these cores. You have to rub some of the hairy stuff off of them, but once they're rubbed off, they're very uniform. And of course, there's 2 of them matching. And when you put them together, we glue them together with hot glue, and there will be a straight edge along the leading edge and tapered wing. So elevons will be in the rear, and they will be added at the very end. They'll be made out of balsa wood. I'll show you those. Anyways, that's the wing core. Here is the fuselage core. You can see it's tapered. I think it's 2 inches at the front, and I'm not sure what it is, maybe an inch or so at the very tail end. And there's the slot that we're going to put the wing into and glue it with hot glue. There's a tail also for it. The tail is in here. It's a coroplast tail that we'll glue on. I'll make it colorful before I do that. And then there's some little parts control horns are in here and some instructions, but I go by the instructions on the website, the videos, because that's much more thorough than these instructions here. Another thing, so let me show you the elevons. These are all taped together, so I won't pull them apart, but you get these nice tapered balsa wood elevons, 2 of them, that will span the wings. We will have to shape them a little bit, cut them down to size, and also shape this leading edge so that it's beveled a little bit more. You've got these rods, which you'll see how to use in the video. These are used to reinforce the top and bottom spars of the wing and give it a lot of strength, like an I-beam. If you have one across the top and one across the bottom, and the tensile strength of this fiberglass is very strong, and so you form a wing that really can bear a lot of weight and won't flex. A couple control rods there, and let's see. Oh, the covering. So it gives you plenty of covering. This is thermal film with like a hot glue backing on it, so that you can kind of shrink wrap the finished product when you're done and make the surface nice and smooth. It adheres well to the foam, doesn't require any spray glue or anything like that. Used it a lot, and always with good results. So then, let me just show you some of the other parts and pieces that I've put together so I can build this plane. These are going to require a fairly heavy-duty servo. So what I'm going to use is this. This is a metal gear servo, and metal gear servos are important for these planes with big elevons, flying wings and combat planes and these big soaring planes, because there's a lot of force on pulling that elevon, and also if you happen to hit the ground on a hard landing and it the momentum snaps it forward, it can strip a normal servo that has plastic gears. So you want metal gear servos in this kind of a plane. And for pretty heavy duty, these are DS339MG. MG stands for metal gear, and they're made by Corona. They're not very expensive servos, but they've got some glue on them because I pulled them out of a combat plane that I've retired. Got a new receiver. And to regulate the voltage, I'm just going to use an old speed controller. Now, this part of it won't be used. That's what used to connect to the motor. There's no motor on this plane, but this is the output that will go to the receiver that will produce the controlled voltage. I'll have to put a different plug on this. I don't use this big plug on this little plane, but this is oversized, overweight. It doesn't really matter if I overdo it with this one. I could buy a much smaller one, but I have this sitting around, so I'll just recycle it. Here's the battery I'll use. It's not very big. It's just a little 2S 500 milliamp hour, half an amp hour, 2-cell or 2S battery, and it should work fine to power those servos and the receiver. And so that's it. You know, there's some tape and things that are required for this. Of course, soldering and tools and things like that. But Lee can show you all that on the video on the website. And I'll just show you, like I say, anything that might be a helpful tip to you that is not included in his videos. So I may not show anything again until after the plane is built. And then I'll show you the finished product and how it works. And then we'll go out and fly it. Okay, thanks.